So this is BPD and the effect on personal and non-personal relationships. Over the last 30 years, there has been an increase in diagnosis and awareness of mental illness. Mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life. According to the World Health Organization, in 2019, 970 million people globally were living with a mental disorder, with anxiety and depression being the most common. Globally, mental disorders account for 1 in 6 years lived with disability. People with severe mental health conditions die projected 10 to 20 years earlier than the general population. As you can see, mental illnesses are a serious rising problem. A specific mental illness I believe should be brought further to light is borderline personality disorder, or BPD. About 4.7 million individuals struggle with BPD just in the US, so let's discuss what is BPD. Borderline personality disorder is a mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. It affects the way people feel about themselves and others, making it hard to function in everyday life. In addition, research shows that BPD individuals affects women 3 times more often than males. So, diagnosis and symptoms. Symptoms of BPD include strong, overwhelming, and often unfounded fears of abandonment, a pattern of unstable and intense relationships, where it is common for the sufferer to believe the partner to be perfect and then suddenly think them cruel and uncaring, even if nothing has changed in the relationship. Quick changes in self-perception, both negative and positive, periods of stress-related paranoia, and loss of contact with reality, durations varying from a few hours to a few days. Impulsive, risky behavior, including substance abuse, spending spree, binge eating, and self-success sabotage. Threats of self-harm, often a result from fear of separation or rejection. Fast mood swings, which can last from hours to days, including feelings of happiness, anger, shame, and constant feeling of emptiness. Finally, strong anger, which can lead to inappropriate outbursts such as losing your temper, being sarcastic and bitter, or physically fighting. Diagnosis of BPD is only made in adults. Such diagnosis is not made in children and teenagers because, to put it simply, the symptoms can be grown out of. Diagnosis includes an interview with your doctor or mental professional, mental health evaluation, which includes answering a list of questions, mental history and exam, and finally, most importantly, a discussion of your symptoms. So let's discuss the BPD relationship cycle. Now that BPD has been defined and understood at a baseline level, let's look at BPD in personal relationships. This specifically includes friendships and romantic relationships. With the help of a carefully selected team of leading professionals, well-known psychologist Dr. Becky Spellman, an HCPC registered psychologist and BCP accredited cognitive behavioral therapist, created a website with a written description of the 7 stages of BPD. The first stage is attraction. This comes with the honeymoon stage. There's a lot of attraction and mirroring, which causes the partner to feel like they found their soulmate, when in actuality they're just attracted to the mirror behaviors. The next stage is characterized by obsessive neediness. This is when the relationship starts to become outwardly dysfunctional. The sufferer is likely to nitpick, perceive negative behaviors, and if they don't get immediate responses to calls and texts, the individual may quickly develop low self-esteem and convince themselves they aren't loved. The next stage is withdrawing and withholding. When a BPD individual feels their emotional needs aren't being met, they will invoke withdrawing and withholding strategy to help themselves feel more secure in the relationship. The sufferer may instigate or start fights with their partner, so that the partner fights for the relationship, i.e., them. This way, they will feel validated. Stage 4 is escalating devaluation. This is characterized by a BPD individual's panic stage. This is the stage where the individual will feel their needs still aren't being met, so the fights increase in intensity and frequency. The sufferer will also develop a victim ego and likely gaslight their partner. This is a point where the relationship will fail, leading to stage 5, the breakup stage. If it has reached this point, the borderline will break up with their partner either formally or they may just leave. This could seem like it's coming out of nowhere, but for the BPD individual, their needs have not been met for a long time. Stage 6 is repair. The couple may get back together with the BPD individual's promise either to themselves or the partner that they'll do better. This stage also has a honeymoon period. The final stage is stage 7, and this is the repeat stage. Dr. Spellman notes that all BPD cases are different, so it's not certain that an effective individual will follow these stages. However, based on research and behavioral patterns, these stages serve as an outline or a guide for sufferers and loved ones to understand. So, non-personal relationships. How are BPD individuals viewed by outsiders? Usually both by the public and health mental practitioners, BPD has a very negative stigma. To an outsider who isn't quite knowledgeable on the subject, BPD can look like bipolar disorder or NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. However, the disorders are actually quite different. Many personal accounts from BPD sufferers suggest that they can be seen in a black and white way. Either you like them or you don't. They can be seen as unpredictable, manipulative, and selfish. This can make them intimidating to approach, and the person and intimidating to approach the person, and you likely need a strong personality to develop or hold a relationship with the borderline individual. Coping and support. Despite the overwhelmingness of BPD, there are ways to cope with this intimidating mental illness. Several NAMI studies suggest that some borderline sufferers respond well to exercise and diet. It helped them to better regulate their own emotions. Another study by NAMI encourages finding support. If a BPD individual can connect with people who suffer with the same problem, they can talk about it and connect on a more personal level. In a 2022 study, they found that communication and support from significant individuals, such as family members, help to reduce anxiety and depressive symptoms, which are commonly met with BPD. Other suggestions to help regulate emotions include grounding, practicing mindfulness, encouraging in activities, self-soothing, such as taking a hot bath or deep breathing. All the former suggestions won't cure BPD, but it can help an individual better cope with their emotions and condition when it becomes a burden. Overall, mental disorders are not straightforward. They are as confusing and as complex as we are. The best way to combat the fear and unknown is to learn and understand. In this way, we will be unafraid, healing versions of ourselves. Thank you.